firearms and ammunition. Crime Stoppers to roll out important initiative in Tobago. Tobago Business Chamber Chair says Forex crisis was predictable and the PEP's Philip Alexander supports the UNC. Good evening, I am Biana Brebner. Welcome to the Tobago Updates Television News for Tuesday, 12th November 2024. To our top story this evening, in an ongoing exercise to reduce gun violence in Tobago, the Tobago division of the TTPS seized approximately $400,000 in illegal firearms and ammunition for the period 2024. Pistols, rifles, a shotgun, and some high-powered firearms are among the 21 illegal firearms seized, along with ammunition. With the murder toll for this year in Tobago at 25, the highest it has ever been, the TTPS is working even harder to reduce gun-related crimes on the island. In an interview on Monday, Inspector Mahalia Bacchus reiterated that the TTPS is intolerant of all criminal activities and has increased manpower and a heightened police presence in the streets and communities across Tobago. Senior Superintendent Earl Eli highlighted the life-saving impact of each weapon taken off the streets. The TTPS calls for the continued support of the public in the fight against crime and illegal firearms in Tobago. Crime Stoppers Trinidad and Tobago is set to roll out an initiative in Tobago at the end of the month aimed at reinvigorating the Tobago unit. Director Martin George explained that Crime Stoppers is strictly anonymous and provides many benefits in the fight against crime.
Stoppers, widely known for its anonymity, is a platform designed for the public to share intelligence that can lead to crime detection and the apprehension of criminals. Director Martin George said that the unit is aiming to sensitize the Tobago public because fighting crime is everyone's business.
We want to sensitize and encourage people in Tobago to use it. So, in other words, we all have a part to play in stamping out crime and criminality. And let me tell you, the information is out there. People in the communities, they know what is going on. They know who is doing what and who is, responsible for this, that, the other.
The organization will come to Tobago at the end of November and is committed to working with all stakeholders in advancing the cause of fighting crime in Tobago.
We are going to be coming across to Tobago at the end of the month, the entire team from Crime Stoppers Trinidad and Tobago. All right, so I got all my fellow directors on board. So we are going to be coming across and we'll be there for the weekend. All right, we've already reached out to the Chief Secretary and he has pledged his support and commitment to the initiative. And we will be reaching out to the minority leader because we want this to span across all political divides. We want everybody to participate and be a part of this.
George also said the organization intends to contact the MPs for Tobago East and West to participate in the conversation. When speaking about the value of Crime Stoppers, he mentioned some of the features of the operations that assure the callers remain anonymous.
We have provided a platform, right, through that 800 tips number, whereby you can actually call in and give information on crime and criminal activity anonymously. There's no call ID, there's no call tracing, there's no, callback system. So in other words, nobody will know who is calling.
Adana Kambi, Tobago Updates Television News.
President of the Tobago Business Chamber, Martin George, said the current foreign exchange crisis, which is now a cause for concern in Trinidad and Tobago and affects both commercial and residential operations, was predictable.
A slow-moving crisis is one of the terms President of the Tobago Business Chamber, Martin George, used to describe the current forex crisis in Trinidad and Tobago. George said the foreign exchange earnings have been on a decline for a number of years.
Our foreign exchange earnings have been declining rapidly year after year after year for the last 10 years or so. Our earnings from oil and gas have reduced. Our earnings from other non-oil exports have not matched the shortfall that we've experienced.
Adding to the current threat of foreign reserves for the past decade, Mr. George said the government did nothing to intercept and avert the situation. He says the central government has to bear the responsibility for this cause.
You ask yourself, what have our leaders done to avert this situation or to avert this crisis? That's what good leadership and management is supposed to be about. So therefore, central government has to take the responsibility and, along with that, the blame for not dealing with this in a timely manner to ensure that we don't face this type of crisis.
George compared other Caribbean countries, stating they do not have access to oil and gas, as is the instance with Trinidad and Tobago, and continues questioning why the country is facing this crisis.
You look at all the other small islands of the Caribbean. You go to St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, Barbados. None of them have a foreign exchange crisis like what we have. Clearly, they are doing something different from us that we are not doing. And, they don't have the oil and gas reserves that we have. They haven't been piggybacking on that US dollar inflow from an energy economy. So therefore, what are we doing?
Martin George continued on, stating that the foreign exchange rate was not well managed, contributing to this crisis. While speaking about ways in which the situation can improve, George spoke about the way business is done in the country.
If you really want to develop and encourage and facilitate business, then you have to make it easier. You have to facilitate the ease of doing business. We are one of the most difficult countries in the world to do business in, because there are so many restrictions and so much red tape. And, you go to companies registry, it's a whole, run around all the time. You go to legal affairs, look at the situation even now.
George said we have to change the way business is done in Trinidad and Tobago if we want to establish first world standards. Adana Kambi, Tobago Update Television News.
We'll take a break and come back with more. Stay with us.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Tobago, your voice matters. The Police Complaints Authority invites the public to its community outreach session. We would love to hear from you. Feel free to attend and give us feedback. Join us Thursday, 14th November at the Canaan Bonaccord Multipurpose Facility from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come share your thoughts, raise your concerns, and learn about how the PCA serves to ensure accountability within our police service. Your input makes a difference. Let's work together for a safer, stronger community. The Police Complaints Authority. Independence, integrity, and transparency in action.
Welcome back. Endorsing the UNC on Monday night was the political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party, Philip Edward Alexander. He attended the UNC Town Hall meeting in San Fernando. Over the past 8 years, Alexander has been vocal on social media, criticizing both the PNM and the UNC while building his own party. After competing unsuccessfully in several elections, he is now throwing his support behind opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC.
And I needed to come and do that in person so that the rest of Trinidad and Tobago would know that the only way that we could get this despicable and failed government out of office is to unite behind the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
He also contributed to the discussion on educational reform, suggesting reducing homework for primary school students and advocating for the removal of secondary entrance assessment exams.
You as education minister, when you built the last school that made it possible for no child to ever fail common entrance again, I remember that. And I thought, why didn't we transition then to 10-year schools? Why don't we abolish SEA? We don't need it anymore.
Alexander stated that the C exams are detrimental to many students. Persad-Bissessar acknowledged his input and committed to exploring his and other suggestions. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar has pledged to reform the education system if the UNC is elected to office. This commitment drove her choice to focus on education at last night's town hall meeting in San Fernando. There, she listened to citizens' ideas on strengthening the education system and introduced one of the individuals she hopes will lead this educational transformation if UNC regains control of the central government. More in this story from Candice Jackson.
School violence is becoming an increasing concern for citizens. Several stakeholders believe that it can be addressed by more substantial integration of religion into schools. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar agrees.
And it is my proposal, we have not stretched it out fully, but the new UNC government will work very strongly with all religious organizations to bring religion into the schools, all denominational schools, and for others that we have who are failing and trailing, we will want to partner more with religious organizations. So I take that point.
The shortage of jobs for graduates was another key issue highlighted. Persad-Bissessar mentioned that there are ways to employ graduates in the medical field while also supporting primary and secondary school students.
I have a proposal that we will place a doctor either in a cluster of schools, or in the larger schools, there'll be a doctor and a nurse in every one of the larger schools. In this way, we can pick up early signs of physical disability, mental disabilities.
Persad-Bissessar noted that having these professionals available can also enable earlier detection and intervention in cases of abuse, potentially preventing school violence. Meanwhile, the opposition leader took a controversial stance by supporting the education of migrant children, but with one condition.
So as we offer and say yes to the education, then the migrants also have a duty to say no to crime, no to bullying, no to all the things that are bad.
Persad-Bissessar has proposed that former school principal Dr. Michael Dowlatt lead education reform if the UNC regains control of the central government. Dr. Dowlatt believes that students should be equipped to tackle societal challenges such as reducing the country's import food bill.
Is it that the school curriculum must have an emphasis on agriculture and food security? So when we think about changing the school curriculum and the focus, we must understand that our students must spend more time out of the classroom than in the classroom.
Dr. Dowlatt observed that too many students are leaving school unprepared for the workforce, lacking critical thinking and problem-solving skills.
When they have to discuss an idea, sometimes they don't know how to speak. What are the protocols? And one skill that is really, really important is entrepreneurial skills.
Persad-Bissessar plans to incorporate these and other comments from the town hall into the UNC's election manifesto. Candice Jackson, Tobago Updates, Television News.
Recently, Assemblyman Kelvon Morris introduced a motion in the Tobago House of Assembly to rally support for the Tobago Autonomy bills currently under consideration in Parliament. Since then, progress has been made on the motion. The Tobago Updates morning show providing an update on the latest developments and discussing the key changes to the motion. Reporter Joshel Dan has the details.
Assemblyman Kelvon Morris, who appeared on the Tobago Updates morning show earlier today, shared important updates regarding the motion he introduced in the Tobago House of Assembly in support of the Tobago Autonomy bills, which are currently in the committee stage in Parliament. The motion for the bills has seen some amendments made by the majority within the THA.
My colleagues on the majority side amended the motion, and they made two amendments to the motion. They made an amendment in the recital, and I think it was the final recital of the motion where they amended couple words and they added.
He also said they agreed to ensure the bills are passed within a reasonable time frame. Morris read another aspect of the motion that was amended and agreed upon, which he claimed would improve the quality of life of Tobagonians.
What we agreed on is that this House acknowledges that the provisions of these bills being the bills currently before the Parliament that is in the committee stage, should have far-reaching and positive impacts on the powers of the Tobago House of Assembly and the quality of life for all Tobagonians.
According to Morris, the members of the legislative agree that the bills were good and that they can improve the lives of the average Tobagonian.
What we as the House agreed is in essence that the bills are in fact good bills that would improve the current status of the Tobago House of Assembly and the lives of the average Tobagonian. So that was agreed to by all and sundry.
Morris shared that he had intentions of amending the last statement of the motion, which originally stated, quote, without amendments, end quote. However, he believes that it was important that provision was made for amendments. He read what was agreed upon as the final resolution.
That this House encourages all necessary actions to ensure the passage of appropriate bills, including an urgent bipartisan meeting between members of the Tobago House of Assembly and members of the Parliament to facilitate their smooth and timely enactment with the necessary amendments.
Morris noted that whilst the bill may not have everything that is being asked for, that it is a step in the right direction to give additional powers to Tobago. Joshel Dan, Tobago Updates Television News.
You are watching the Tobago Updates Television News. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Tobago Updates. More news after this.
Black Friday starts now at Courts. Get new and amazing deals every week with the lowest prices on the hottest electronics, top-of-the-line appliances, and stylish furniture. No need to waste your time shopping around. Plus, you can shop now and pay us in February 2025. Black Friday starts now. Don't miss out. Courts, bringing value home.
Artlist.io.
Get ready for Tobago Stockwest Next Level 2024. Join us for an unforgettable night of talent and excitement as Tobago Stockwest, in collaboration with Tobago Updates, presents the first semi-final on Thursday, November 14th, 2024, and the second semi-final on November 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex. Celebrate the incredible talent from across Tobago's communities and witness a showcase like no other. Admission is just $50. Don't miss your chance to support the stars of tomorrow. See you there.
Are you thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
Thanks for staying with us. The 29th UN Climate Change Conference, COP29, kicked off in Baku, Azerbaijan, with delegates stressing the urgency of tackling climate finance, fossil fuels, and biodiversity. Additionally, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres mandated world leaders to ensure they arrived at an action plan for climate financing and funding climate justice for developing nations. Reporter Candice Jackson has more details.
Raquel Moses, CEO of the Caribbean Climate Smart Accelerator, stressed the need for more funding for loss and damage, especially for Caribbean nations impacted by climate events like Hurricane Beryl. She called for collaboration on finance models and better access to microfinancing for small businesses in the climate sector. James Elsmore, CEO of Island Innovation, highlighted the slow pace of international negotiations, warning that major economies must take bolder actions. He also stressed the importance of funding to support climate projects. Terrell Gittins, a Trinidad and Tobago delegate, called for a more inclusive approach to climate action, advocating for the importance of local and indigenous knowledge in protecting biodiversity and ensuring climate resilience. Meanwhile, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres sounded the alarm during the opening ceremony.
The sound you hear is the ticking clock. We are in the final countdown to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And time is not on our side.
Guterres painted a grim picture of the realities that developing nations like Trinidad and Tobago face because of climate change.
Families running for their lives before the next hurricane strikes. Biodiversity destroyed in sweltering seas. Workers and pilgrims collapsing in insufferable heat. Floods tearing through communities and tearing down infrastructure. Children going to bed hungry as droughts ravage crops.
Despite the slow commitment to fulfilling climate financing mandates, Guterres is sure that COP29 would be the game changer.
COP29 must tear down the walls of climate finance. Developing countries must not leave Baku empty-handed. A deal is a must, and I'm confident it will be reached. We need a new finance goal that meets the moment. Now more than ever, finance promises must be kept, and developed countries must race the clock to double adaptation finance to at least $40 billion a year by 2025.
He also called for all countries to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius by capping global emissions by 9% every year and switching to renewable energy. With the stakes higher than ever, COP29 delegates are pushing for bold, unified action to address the climate crisis. Candice Jackson, Tobago Updates, Television News.
The Innovative Democratic Alliance held a press conference today to discuss a range of issues affecting Tobagonians. Among them was the Tobago Autonomy Bill, which Dr. Denise Soyafat Angus referred to as inadequate. She urged that the proposed legislation was superficial and did not adequately represent the needs of the island. Reporter Josh Eldan has the details.
Dr. Angus explained that she believes the autonomy bills as they stand fall short of what is needed for true self-governance in Tobago. She argues that they only offer concessions without shifting real power away from the central government.
But these bills do not provide us with true autonomy. They are more of the same, a superficial attempt to appease us with concessions that keep control firmly in the hands of central government.
She reflected on the current situation as it pertains to the Tobago autonomy bills. She pointed out that the IDA's early warning signs could have possibly eliminated some of the current challenges. However, she criticized Chief Secretary Fali Chavez Augustine for not heeding the warning.
But what we could tell you is that from January of this year, the IDA saw this crisis coming on our hands. We knew that without strong leadership, these bills would become yet another political tool, a carrot to dangle before elections.
She stressed that true leadership should be proactive, not reactive. She advocated for a more inclusive process, one that brings together all political parties and stakeholders to craft a plan for autonomy that genuinely reflects the will of the people of Tobago.
True leadership is not reactive, it is proactive. Since January, the IDA advocated for a task force that would unite all political parties and legislative members in consulting with the people to design a plan that genuinely reflects the will of Tobagonians.
Additionally, she expressed disappointment with the government's failure to act decisively, warning that without proper consultation and leadership, Tobago could end up with a bill that worsens existing problems instead of solving them.
They all dropped the ball on this, and we have found ourselves in reactive mode with a bill that is more dangerous to us at this time than is useful.
Jo Sheldon, Tobago Updates Television News.
A 21-year-old Kino Caldero of San Souci Bay, Trinidad, has been charged in connection with an armed robbery at a jewelry store in Lowlands Mall, Tobago, which occurred on August 14, 2024. Caldero appeared before Master De Silva on November 11th and was granted bail in the amount of $250,000 or a cash alternative of $25,000, along with a curfew requiring him to remain at home between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. The robbery involved two men disguised as construction workers and armed with firearms. Caldero's arrest followed a thorough investigation by the Criminal Investigation Division in Tobago with assistance from officers at the La Hoqueta police station. A second suspect is still being sought. Anyone with additional information is encouraged to contact the Tobago Division CID or their nearest police station. The weather report is next. Stay with us.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors. Garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Standards Black Friday deal starts now with 35% off select television, 30% off select appliances, 25% off Christmas decor, 15% off select divans, 20% off select furniture, and you can shop in store and online. Standards Black Friday deal. Nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Now for the weather update from the TNT Met office. Tonight mostly fair despite 1 or 2 light lingering showers and the low chance of an odd heavy thunderstorm. Tomorrow's outlook is mainly hot, sunny and slightly hazy despite the likelihood of a few spotty showers. A generally fair night is expected. Daytime temperatures will rise to 32 degrees Celsius with a heat index of 37 degrees Celsius. Sunrise at 5:58 and sunset at 5:35. And that's how we end this evening's newscast. Here's a recap of the headlines before we go. TTPS Tobago Division seized 400,000 in illegal firearms and ammunition. Crime Stoppers to rule out important initiative in Tobago. Tobago Business Chamber Chair says Forex crisis was predictable. And the PEP's Philip Alexander supports the UNC. I am Bianna Brebner. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.